Hey man, say man, back at y'all again today man with another video. Today we are in the beautiful prefecture of Nara in the outskirts of rural Japan. Not only do they have the famous Shika Park, or one of the most beautiful palaces in the world, but they also have some incredible retro game shopping. Without further ado, let's get it.
Alrighty guys, well, it has been a brutal walk here, but we're finally closing in on the hard off. Right here by the Audi dealership. Here we are, man, at the hard off house combo. Check this place out. Let's do it.
It's another beautiful day out here in Nara, Japan, and you know what that means? We're here at another hard off house superstore. Now guys, this one we have not been to yet before on the channel, so I'm super excited to give you the walkthrough today. When you first walk in, you're greeted with a ton of clothes, a designer cabinet, watch cases. You can get a brief glimpse at the guitars. There was a lot to see. Guys, it was almost overwhelming walking in. Right off the bat, it's more than obvious they have an ample supply of Louis Vuitton. They have other bags such as Saint Laurent. They have Gucci. Plenty of Coach items as well in there. Even a few Fendi bags you'd see mixed in between the different accessories here, but they had a big selection of Louis Vuitton. And if you glimpse over to the left right there, you can see there are just rows and rows of handbags on their bulk section. Guys, when I say this store was crazy, it was crazy. Now, retro gamers, don't worry. We're going to get to the retro games in just a second. But hey, man, I make these videos for everybody. So I just want to show everyone what the experience looks like to go to one of these thrift stores out here in Japan. Now, Hard Off is a must-go-to store if you are ever in Japan, if you ask me. No matter where you are, you're going to be able to find a Hard Off near you. Now, this specific one was in Nara, and I spent a total of 4 days in Nara going to a few different stores, checking out the Shika Park, and even touring the palace, which you guys will see later on in the channel here as well. But the primary focus point of today is exploring this hard off. So going past the clothing and bag section, we're going to dive straight into the guitars. Take a look at that selection. That art core on the top up there is something that I used to own back in the day. And I actually traded a guitar just like that for my favorite ever Epiphone Nuclear Extreme Les Paul, one of my favorite guitars that I own to this day. But man, the selection was wide. This store, every hard off varies in size, every book off varies in size, but man, this store specifically was huge. And the prices are kind of all over the board. Now, when it came down to specific games, you guys will see here in a minute, they didn't have necessarily everything I was looking for. However, where they were lacking on the games, this store shined on just about everything else. I mean, you can see the guitar section. Look at that bass right there. I literally have that bass sitting next to me right now. I mean, this store was insane. So the junk section did not lack at this one either. And we're going to dive into that in just a minute. Here's going to be your first glimpse at the junk cases. I mean, you see it. You got iPods, headsets, controllers. Everything to the right of me is a junk section. Even what that employee was organizing right there, he's also working on the junk products as well. So I didn't want to bombard him. Let's go ahead and start off over here before we make our way down to the junk section. So starting off at the camera case, let's see what we got. Man, I really did not know exactly what I was looking for when it came down to cameras, but rest assured guys, we got a new camera and we got some audio equipment coming this way for upgrades for this year's equipment. So man, stay tuned guys. Sorry about the audio levels that I've been dealing with lately, but going into these stores with all this copyright music. It's the first time I experienced some travel vlogging like this, so now that I know what I'm dealing with, I'm gonna better prepare myself to tackle these vlogs for you guys and give you even better content moving forward in the future with these equipment upgrades that I do have coming soon. So there you saw a brief glimpse at the Apple cabinet before turning around and looking at some of the consoles. So you can see, man, PlayStations, GameCubes, Super Famicoms. We're talking about even in the box here. We got boxed consoles. You can move on down to see different fight pads, joysticks, a ton of games. Now, like I said, this one didn't have the best selection of games, but they did still have a lot. There are just a bunch of specific titles that I was looking for that I was not able to find here. So let's go ahead and move over to the other side of the store and check out what else they have. Immediately when I went to the other side of the store, I found this suitcase, and a suitcase is something I had been needing, so I had to scoop that up. And you can see, guys, the other side of the store is just as big. This wall right here on the left that has all the Supreme and designer shirts on it, that wall is what separates us from the clothing and the games. And they even had those hyper adapts in the case right there. And $30,000 for hyper adapts is a super solid price, and that's a pair of shoes that I have been wanting to add to the personal collection. So hey man, just might have to pull the plug on some hyper adapts. Gotta love to see all the different shoe culture here in Japan. A lot of people have similar interests no matter where you are in the world, and it's cool that the similar interests no matter where you are in the world can bring each individual together, even if they might not agree on everything. Man, at the end of the day, we all love some Pokemon cards, we all love some nice shoes, and you know we love shopping at the thrift stores. So at this point, I went ahead and flipped it into Hyperview to try to give you guys a little bit better look at what we got going on here. I mean, like I said, the store's huge. Got the suitcase so far, and we're just gonna keep on browsing. I love that Cardinals tee. They have some nice shoes up at the top. They even had some off-white Prestos in the very back left corner at the top rack. They ended up being too small for me, but man, they were a great price. I want to say they were like 450, or yeah, like 450 US, like, I don't know, like, what is that, 50,000 yen, somewhere around there. And man, if they were the right size, I definitely would have pulled the plug on them. But this wall that they used to divide the clothing and the gaming section has some heat, man. So if you come into this store, do not sleep on this wall. Like, man, I found the most heat. So before I wrap up this video, guys, let's go ahead and tour the video game section one more time. Now guys, I'm going to leave my suitcase right here so that way I can have both hands on the camera and give you a little bit slower walkthrough. So here is a detailed look at the game case in wide view, so hopefully you can see the prices and the selection of everything that they have. It's honestly pretty nice. This is the Apple case right here. They have some other products in there that aren't Apple, but you know, primarily an Apple case right here next to the video games. And turning around behind that, we also have a slew of some more products. Now, we have anything from older Famicom cards to boxed fight pads. We got PS5 games, Series X games. We have new stuff. We have old stuff like Neo Geo, some miscellaneous controllers, GameCube, assorted 64. You have your junk bins down on the bottom. Not much on the selection for Pokemon games. You know, I am a huge Pokemon fan, so going here to the DS section, I wasn't really seeing what I was looking for on that end. They did have a bunch of loose carts right here that I did flip through briefly, and this is kind of how I flip through those carts, just so you guys know. It's pretty easy to see any specific titles you're looking for when you do it like that. And hey man, just little pro tip from me to you whenever you're out there thrift shopping, man, you want to go ahead and flip through those. Sometimes you will miss some stuff that way, but hey man, I like to go ahead and get through when I got a lot of stuff to do during the day. But you can see all the loose carts next to it on the right for the Famicom and the 64, and the little selection of box stuff underneath. It's always a pleasure to go into a hard off and do some shopping. I mean, man, if you're a retro video game fan, please do not ever miss the opportunity to go into a hard off. Last but not least, before getting out of here, I checked out the camera case one more time and then determined I need to go check out that junk section just to make sure I didn't leave anything behind, and I figured I'd take you guys along with me. Now, it's hard to go ahead and show everything while I'm sitting there shopping myself because this is a huge passion of mine, but I do my best on these videos for you guys, so hopefully you're seeing some crazy items that you wouldn't have seen elsewhere. That's the goal of showing you these videos, showing you where to go and get some steals and deals so that way you can go and have a wonderful time when you're out there traveling Japan just like I did. Taking a look at these junk cases on the junk aisle, you can see, I mean, there's monitors, there's screens, there's racing wheels, there's controllers, there's iPods, there's iPhones, there's DS's, there's microphones. I mean, they even have boxes full of old hard drives and RAM and just different products you wouldn't even really expect. Now, these right here are all junk games. Junk games don't necessarily mean that they don't work. That just means that these games are 110 yen. That's right, less than $1 you can buy a video game at your local hard off from the junk section. That's insane. It's a fun day anytime you have the chance to go to a hard off. So I just wanted to take the time to take you guys along with me for the ride to show you one of my favorite ones, which happens to be the hard off that is outskirts of Nara, Japan. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this retro video game shopping vlog from Nara, Japan, and I hope that you'll stay tuned to see more videos from this channel in the future. If you like this video, chances are that you're probably gonna like these two too. And until next time, I'll be out this thing. Peace!